There are a few things that were touched upon in the last few minutes that I would like to tie back into what we're celebrating today. One is that, as Chris said, the importance of the Native American vote. This was something that the senator, as a politician, as a member of Congress, and understanding not only how he got there, but how other members of the Senate and House respond to their constituents. First and foremost, they're going to respond, he always said, to the people that voted for the member of the Senate or member of the House, be they male or female. And he said, if you don't get out the vote, if you don't impress upon them your political muscle through the vote, you can expect them to give you either second-class notice or perhaps not even take any cognizance of the issues that are important to you. So you must show them that not only can you deliver your vote, but other votes within your community. And then they will sit up and pay attention to you. And I think that Ron Allen and others who were at many of the meetings and listening sessions that the senator had, he said that every single time. He thought that was very important. And he pointed to the fact that when voters, Native voters, turned out and influenced the outcome of an election in Montana and in Alaska, for instance, in both states, policy and law started to change in favor of Native interests, and high-level jobs in administrations were offered to Native people for the first time. So he thought that voting was absolutely the fundamental, most critical thing. And secondly, to hold those that you elect to office accountable, so that once they get into office, they don't forget who sent them there, that you are there on a regular basis reminding them that you have issues and that the person you elected promised to address those issues. Today we have an Alaska Native who is running for the position of governor of Alaska, and that is why he couldn't be here today. He worked in the Senate for Senator Mike Gravel. He was very close to Senator Stevens. He's a bipartisan fellow, so he was one of the campaign advisors for Senator Lisa Murkowski, who's a Republican. Byron Mallott is running as a Democratic candidate for governor. And though he could not be here today, he wanted to share with you some of his perspectives about the two senators. So we have a short video from Byron Mallott.
I first met Senator Inouye when I was a special assistant to one of our Alaskan United States senators in 1970, I believe it was. And Senator Inouye was going to accompany Senator Ted Kennedy on an educational fact-finding mission to Alaska. And as an assistant to an Alaskan United States senator, I was asked to assist in whatever way I could in preparations for Senator Kennedy and Senator Inouye's visit to Alaska. And that was the first time that I met that wonderful man. It was clear that he cared about people. He didn't care, as sometimes the United States senators and other powerful leaders are thought as. He didn't think about powerful interests. He didn't give you the impression that he was there in the U.S. Senate, that he was there wherever you were with him, in Alaska, in Hawaii, You didn't feel that he cared about anything other than what he was engaged in with you, and typically with Alaska Native peoples, with Native Hawaiians, at least that I'm aware. It was about people. It was about their health. It was about their education. It was about who they were. It was about their sense of aspiration. It was about their sense of hope. And ultimately, it was about what he might be able to do as a United States Senator in advancing those beliefs, those values, those interests of everyday people. And I will never forget that. To me, that really characterizes, exemplifies who Senator Daniel Inouye was. I think more than anything else, along with his Alaskan friend, Senator Ted Stevens, they gave Alaskans, they gave Hawaiians a sense of what was possible for us to attain, using our own resources, using assistance that was appropriate from government, using other institutions, working together, both as First Peoples and as a whole society. He gave you a sense that you could do it. And that was powerful. Usually you go to a United States Senator, you go to Congress, you go to federal agencies because you need something or you want something, a program or an issue to be resolved or something to advance. But when you were with Senator Inouye, when you were with Senator Ted Stevens, you were really talking about who you were as people, both in your respective states and collectively, in terms of how do we move ahead, how do we inspire, how do we aspire, how do we dream. And that is powerful, powerful stuff for people who are still yearning for the kind of future, for the kind of life that is best suited for them. The fact that Senator Inouye would choose to chair the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs was very telling. Here was a very senior United States Senator who had his pick, could choose whatever issue, whatever committee, whatever role he chose to play in the United States Senate. And one of those roles was to be a champion for America's First Peoples, Native Americans, Native Hawaiians, and that was inspirational to the people that he was serving, and it gave the leadership of those communities a sense that they could truly be involved in the right kind of policy making for their future. One of the most unique relationships of the past at least 25 years in the United States Senate was that between Senator Inouye and Senator Ted Stevens of Alaska. Both were veterans of the Second World War. Both saw combat. Both were relatively junior senators at the same time in the United States Senate. Were from the two states of the Union that were separate physically from the rest of the United States. Both had large indigenous populations. In Alaska, the Alaska Native population; in Hawaii, the Native Hawaiian population, and their interests as senators who cared for their constituents and who cared about allowing and creating opportunity for their constituents, those that they represented, to attain the best that was possible for them, I believe brought them together. The fact that as a result, I suppose it was a mix actually, of the growing relationship between Native Hawaiians and Native Alaskans, the need to offer opportunity to both populations, recognizing that needs were similar, that aspirations were similar, that while traditions and values were on their face separate, that at their core they were very much the same. First people seeking to advance who they were, strengthen who they were, build and continue to live lives based on tradition and history, while at the same time creating opportunity for their children in a much larger, much more complex world. These kinds of things allowed the two senators to work very closely together. And maybe it's a bit much to say, but I think because of Alaska's Native peoples, because of Hawaii's Native peoples, that allowed them to become the incredibly close brothers that they became and lived for virtually all of their service together. You know, both Senator Inouye, Senator Stevens are now gone. They leave incredible legacies of public service in the United States Senate, in their home states. But to First Peoples, to the Native peoples of Alaska, and the opportunities we've gained from their support and their vision to advance our own interests in our states, to build relationships within the overall society of our states, to help strengthen the states as places which embrace all residents, all citizens, will be an incredible legacy. It create a foundation for the kind of human growth, realization of human aspiration, a sense that societies can come together and can reach into the far reaches of our imaginations, of our values, of our sense of history, and create something unique in society in these two places. I think that we may not see in our lives, and even in one or two generations, what their service together has made possible. But I think when we look back at the history of Hawaii, when we look back at the history of Alaska, say 50 years from now, the kind of places they are, which I know will be stronger societies, diverse places, places that celebrate the kinds of things that make people different and unique, but also a kind of place that brings people together in common purpose. When that happens, and it will largely be because of the service of Senator Inouye and Senator Ted Stevens.